Smite World Championships on Frag Logic. Smite World Championships on Frag Logic.
And we're live.
We live.
I think I was right on cue.
Yeah?
I think I didn't mess up, Colin.
Well, might as well wrap up the show then.
we just go home.
Can't have any production errors. Just go ahead and end it now.
Episode 102.
It's all downhill from here.
No production errors. Let's head out. What's up, everybody? We are Frag Logic, episode number 102, joined by my main man, Skyllus, a.k.a. Colin, a.k.a. The Don.
Keep grinding away at that one. Nope.
Not going to die, Colin. We got to keep it going. We got to keep the Don alive in 2015. So today we're going to be talking about a couple different things. We have the Smite World Championships, which I went to this past weekend. I went with Christy, and yeah, I had a pretty good time. It was crazy to see that level of production for Smite. I think that I was blown away by that in itself, because I just felt like the community wasn't there for that type of event. You know what I mean? And so they completely blew me away with that. We're going to talk about Evolve a little bit. They released their DLC model, so we're going to talk a little bit about that. Got some Snickers from my boy Colin. There's a Steam controller is going to be unveiled at GDC. Very, very quick discussion about that. And then the long discussion on today, I wanted to talk with you guys, Colin, wrap our heads around how games can impress us in 2015. I think that's a pretty good topic that we can get a lot of viewer discussion about, and we'll go from there. So, Colin, we'll start off with you. Kick it off for Weekend Gaming.
Weekend Gaming.
What did you play?
Shit, I came unprepared for this. Played a little bit of Dota. A lot of Heroes of the Storm. Still grinding away on Heroes. The beta started today, closed beta. They went from alpha to beta today, which brought on rank play, as well as a new hero, Thrall, and a bunch of balance changes. So, huge list of stuff going on for Heroes of the Storm. So let me hop in on that for sure. Going on this week.
Right.
I think that's about it, actually. Just lots of heroes for the most part. I picked up Frozen Synapse for iOS. It's like an older, I think it came out in like 2012. I don't know how we missed this, KO. It seemed like it was something right up our alley. But it's like a turn-based, top-down Rainbow Siege. Or Due Process, if you want another reference. So it's like simultaneous turns. So like both you guys make your turns, and then it plays out all the things in front of you as far as like where everyone's going and shooting at. Pretty cool. I don't know how we missed it. Like it's really right up my alley, and it's multiplayer focused.
Right.
But it came out on iOS this week, so picked it up for iOS. I hadn't played it before. Haven't gotten to it much, but I kind of like did a few tutorials and initial campaign stuff. And there's cross-plat gameplay as well. So if you have it on PC, then PC people just got a massive influx of players into the PC game.
Oh.
Which has been out for a while.
Right. That sounds pretty cool. I might have to give that one a try on PC.
Seems pretty cool.
Because I'm not going to download it on iPad.
That's fair.
I can't move around and play with it because we don't have 4G. So, real quick, Nemo upset about Heroes of the Storm.
They're probably going to do a massive beta invite, I imagine.
Yeah, let me do my shout outs to everybody. Because we're a couple minutes in, 8 minutes into the stream. We got Big. What's up, Big? I'm going to talk about it here in a second, but I got my Heroes of the Storm working again. Got my account back. So that's good. Carrington's in there. What's up, man? Lurking. Kupo, Griff, Pillsbury Doughboy. What's up? Elite 082. Dory, Mr. Monkman, Chief, Perez, Poppy, Big Armada, Nemo, 30 Mile High, and McNugget. All in there right now. We'll probably get some more folks as they come out. The other thing I want to mention is that I had to wait on 2 people that did not respond. I gave them about 10. Wait, how long has it been? How long has it been? It's been 2 weeks. Exactly 2 weeks. I gave them 2 weeks. I was going to send out all those posters on Monday, but now we're sending them out on this Thursday. So there's 2 people that didn't respond. I waited for a while before mass sending out all of them. So everyone that was in episode 100 that won their stuff, things would be sent out on Thursday. So I would be looking in the mail within the next week or so. So thought I would let everybody know that. I think we have like 2 or 3 international, couple to Canada, if you want to count that, and then I think one to the UK. So more giveaways coming.
I ordered some stuff from the UK on Friday and got it Saturday morning.
Oh, damn.
Absolutely insane. For $20-some was shipping was the shipping total for electronics. Insane. Shouldn't even been possible. Pure witchcraft.
Said I might want to tweet the stream out.
Times
okay.
we live in.
Twitch is acting funky. Let's go to the channel. I'll go ahead and tweet it out. I think Skyllus did once. I'll tweet it and then I'll retweet his. So for me, I played couple different games, couple of the same ones. You know, I finally got Heroes of the Storm working. Go ahead and I wanted to play. Skyllus did once. I wanted to play. I want to say it's Bravely Default. I think that might be the game.
Yeah.
I wanted to play that, but I didn't get around to downloading. I need to remember to do that. But I played Destiny quite a bit. It's Iron Banner week this week. I played like 6 hours today. Still getting over like I don't even know what it was, man. My daughter had a fever and she was running real bad runny nose. So last night I started to get a runny nose, started coughing a whole lot. I took some Benadryl, took away the runny nose, slept on it, took away that, woke up, I still had a cough. Didn't go into the studio because I didn't want to, you know, potentially get other people sick. So I streamed some Iron Banner. I saw Destiny release their weapon stats, Colin. Very interesting stuff.
I saw that.
Suros
Master Race.
Suros. And now I figured Suros was the #1 most used weapon. But I was actually surprised by top 3 for Crucible matches. #2 was Vex Mythoclast, which I was actually surprised.
That's as many people
have it, exactly.
Unless it's like a per capita type thing where it's like the amount of people that have it versus that use it.
Yeah, so that was interesting. Thorn was #3. Atheon's Epilogue, #4. Shinjin E5, which I figured Shinjin would be up there. Sidonia AR3. Last Word is #7. I actually thought Last Word would be top 5, but it's not there. Galahad E is #8. Up for Anything 9. And the Stranger's Rifle, #10. That is the top 10 Crucible.
Who uses that shit?
I have no idea, man.
I finished the game like, man, I finished the game. Gotta go take on this super weapon in the MP. Gave it to me for beating the game.
I'm just like... Now, if you want the link to this, I'm going to go ahead and throw it in chat for the Destiny folks. There you go. And then I played some Halo 5 Guardians this weekend. I already have this loaded up. Go ahead and talk about Stronghold. Colin has not had the opportunity to play it.
It's just Dom, right?
It's just Dom.
It's just Dom.
I think they do.
Except I don't think you don't get points if you hold all 3, right? Or you don't get any bonus? Is that how I understood it correctly?
Hey, what's up, folks? Arctic here, and today
you only have to hold 2 to score.
Yeah, I think you get points for like you know, if a team basically gets it and then you retake it, right? So that would be the score. It seems fun. It's very highly team oriented. So you know, I played 10 placement matches. I got ranked into gold 3, which I thought was pretty good considering I only won like 3 matches of the 10 and got basically slaughtered. Well, my team got slaughtered. I did pretty well.
Playing solo?
Yeah, playing solo. Team got slaughtered almost every single game. Like, it just wasn't close. So the map that I'm playing right now that you guys see on screen is Regret. It has some...
Regret's good, man.
Yeah, it has some midship or truth elements to it. The way it's shaped, it's circular. There's a middle area. There's 2 levels of middle area. The design is pretty interesting. It's like an opened midship or truth in some of those areas. So, you know, I actually kind of liked the design of the map. The one thing I noticed is that if you have, especially if you're playing a team, if you get control of that top mid area, you can almost see everywhere, right? So it's pretty easy to lock down the map if you have a team and they don't know what they're doing. Very similar to how Truth played out when we had that, it was me, you, Tense, and Sean, and we beat that team 50-4, 50-2, whatever it was. So that was pretty rough. Trying to play it solo without a team with really unorganized players. And it made me kind of think about how this game is going to play out from a solo aspect, at least in Arena. Like, I just feel like Arena is going to be so unappealing for the solo player. And, you know, we heard that stat that they used to talk about with Gears. I can't remember if it was Gears or just Xbox or whatever, that like 70% of people, and this is 4 years ago, 5 years ago.
Yeah, and it's probably around. I doubt it changed.
Okay, yeah, I wouldn't think it would change anyway. 70% of people play by themselves on Xbox Live, so you know, you got to think about that type of statistic with Halo being as popular as it is. I just don't see solo players being like super drawn to this unless they're trying to get on a team and just trying to show people up, or they're just trying to warm up, you know, like a semi-pro player or pro player, legit pro player, you know, trying to warm up. They might get some games in by themselves, play some Slayer or whatever. I just have a hard time getting into this playing by myself, especially with the hours that I currently can play, right? Like, if I'm playing at 6 o'clock in the morning when like Colin isn't on, Tense isn't on, Sean isn't on, none of my teammates are on.
Damn right, I'm not gonna be on.
Like it's just not, it's not that fun, and it's kind of difficult to play. Like, I like challenging myself, but at some point when I'm carrying for the 12th game, that gets kind of annoying, it gets kind of boring. Just because the team, like, we get beat so bad. Like, it's not like we carry and sometimes it's like very rare is it close. Like, we just get slaughtered. So, and
with the kill times being longer than like a Destiny or a COD or something, like, it's really hard to carry by yourself.
Yeah,
against
it really
good players.
Because
by the time you get someone with no shields, you have another person jumping on your back.
Exactly. So I mean, I definitely like it from the aspect of being another objective mode, playing similar domination. I played a lot of domination for Call of Duty. I feel like I was the one from our team that liked domination the most. So it's fun, but I don't know if it's necessarily the type of fun that I could play in Arena 4v4. Like, I could play it in just normal ass Slayer or something like that. So that's it on this. Get this old monitor off of here. I like being able to do that now. Just have to make it a little smoother. Smooth transition. I don't think I had anything else on the... Oh, Heroes of the Storm. I already mentioned it earlier, but I got my account back finally. So, I'll finally get to start playing with Colin now. Colin, are you playing during lunchtime at all?
Hop in the backpack. No.
Okay. So
my lunchtime's different than yours probably too.
Yeah, it's an hour difference.
Yeah.
So I was just wondering. All right, but yeah, I'll be playing some Heroes of the Storm. I started initially posting some gameplay. I was playing with Bigness, a couple other guys. I'd get on for a little bit, but then I started playing Destiny. So all that Destiny. Colin hating on it. You don't know how many people ask me on a day-to-day basis, does Skyllus play Destiny? I'm like, no, he doesn't really like the game. They're like, oh, that's weird because you play it so much. So next topic we got is Evolve DLC.
This is ridiculous.
Model released. Now, look, I don't like talking about pricing models for games too much, but Evolve is an interesting beast. So hold on, I have to find the quote, Colin, because I didn't actually find it. Where I believe Evolve is actually releasing. Now, this is a good news. Evolve is releasing their maps for free. So, and I believe the reasoning behind it, if I find this, is because they do not want to fragment their population with maps. Now, Colin and I have talked about this before several times on the show. It's a big deal, so they get a major thumbs up for that. But looking at some of the pricing models for the rest of their stuff, at least you kind of scratching your head. So let me find this first. Maps for free. Let's see. This is from IGN, so I'll go ahead and throw this in the chat. And let me see. This is creative director Phil Robb from Turtle Rock Studios. Said that first thing we said is we can't break the community up. So all of our maps will be free. We never want anyone to get booted off of a server because they haven't bought anything. It's a good point. Amazing point. One of the best points. Looks like my connection is struggling a little bit.
Uh-oh.
Dropped some frames. It came back. It's good. We're good. Now, the link to what I'm about to show you guys is from GameSpot. And this talks about the model. We're just pretty much going to walk through it piece by piece here. So, remember, this is a $60 product.
$60. Full price. You're
Full
paying
price.
full price for the game. On top of, well, optionally, you can do these.
Right. So, they're going to have a hunting DLC pass, which is going to allow for access to 3 monster skins when the game ships on February 10th. You're going to grant players access to 4 new hunters released in the spring, probably 3 months later is what I'm going to guess, because that seems to be the typical cadence for releasing this type of content.
If they're not already done, yeah.
And then the hunters will be available to purchase at $7.49 each.
Separate from the DLC pass. Should be the... that has to be separate. Has to be separate.
Well, yeah, that's if you don't if you don't
have the DLC pass, then they would cost $7.50 per character. So if you were to purchase them individually, it would cost you $30 for the 4 hunters.
All right, just let that sink in for a little bit. All right, $30. All right, $60 product, $30 per character, or $30 for all the characters separately. Digital Deluxe Edition is the Evolve and Season Pass. You pre-purchase, if you pre-purchase, I should say, you receive Monster Expansion Pack for free, and that includes the Behemoth Monster. Here's the kicker for this one, Colin. The monster costs $15, $14.99 separately.
I'm just having trouble working out the math because the game comes with 3 monsters, right? And 12 hunters, right? I think it's 3 tiers of hunters.
Sounds like it.
So if I'm doing my math correctly, hold on 1 second. Let me pull up the calculator because I can't do my math correctly. So let's see. We got 749 times 12 plus 45 for the monsters. So really, we're getting a deal because the base game contains $135 worth of content. $135 worth of content for $60. That is ridiculous when you think about it. That's getting twice as much value for your money with the ship game versus the DLC. Anyways, so if you were to purchase, I mean, we'll cover a bit more, but if you were to purchase everything for Evolve separately,
not just Colin, not just purchase, pre-purchase.
Well, in some cases, pre-purchase. It's $131 in order to get everything currently for a game. Yeah.
Look, guys, I'm super confused about this because, like I said, they come out. They're like, we're not going to separate the community. You get all these maps. And then I'm like, oh shit, they get it. They fucking get it. And then I look at some of these prices and I'm just like, $7.50?
Yeah.
For a hero? Look, $5. $5. I would be like, I wouldn't shake my head. I'd be like, okay. $7.50. I don't know what it is. $2.50 more. I'm kind of like, I don't know about that. I don't know about that. And then $15 for the monster?
I just don't get it. I don't get it.
So I'm trying to look. If you were to get a DLC, here's what it is. Here's what gets me. If you were to compare this to another $60 product, let's say Destiny, since that's fresh in my mind. You pay $60 for Destiny. The extra add-on content, which is the season pass, costs $35, if I'm not mistaken.
I think that's right. That's for the first 3 DLCs, right?
Right. And so if you paid separately, which is like $20, $20, $20, Colin, that's $5 more than just the Behemoth. You get the 3 maps, you get all new weapons, you get a new raid, you get a new strike, but for one monster, is the gameplay...
And realistically, Destiny's probably on the worst end in terms of DLC value.
Exactly. So here's my question: do you feel like?
Go ahead.
And from the chat, do you guys feel like if you played Evolve, that any monster is worth $15 worth of content?
There's no way. How about a better comparison? How about Dota, where I can get 100 characters? 100! I think it's actually 95. Whatever. Splitting hairs. You can get 100 characters for free. And the game for free. How do you even compare it? Like, how do you... So, if you're one of the millions of people playing League of Legends or Dota, how do you look at something like that and be like, that makes sense? Like, I would purchase that. Like, there's no way.
I'm boggled. Look.
Or even if you compare it to, like, one of the more aggressive games, like, say, Smite or Heroes of the Storm, where, like, Heroes of the Storm are, like, $7.50 to $10. Like, it's in that same dollar range.
Right.
But they rotate out free heroes all the time. So if you wanted to play someone, you get a chance to try them out before you purchase. Or you could earn gold in order to get it without paying anything. Or you could play any of the other characters that's free every week. There's like 10 different characters free every week. And again, it's a $0 entry. I'm not paying $60 for the full game.
Now, Gunman, now hold up. Hold up now. You're saying that PC can't compare. This is also a PC title.
Yeah, it's a PC title.
It's a PC title, Gunman. It's released on all 3 platforms. It's also a PC title.
And hey, if you want to talk console prices, we'll talk about Smite here in a bit. Smite's going to be on Xbox soon with the same model I just described for Heroes. It's basically the same thing. You have other games as well which are following similar models. I think that in the next few years, you'll see everything kind of shift over to the PC model as well.
So look, that's what's getting me, right? So we're not done. There's more. The PC Monster Race Edition, I like to play Monster Race Edition, includes a hunting pass, 5th unannounced playable monster, 2 additional hunters, 4 monster skins, and will be a timed exclusive for 30 days. Now, I believe the time exclusive is pertaining to the monster skins and not the 5th and unannounced playable monster or the 2 additional hunters. If you pre-purchase this, you will have you will receive the Behemoth and the Savage Goliath skins. This is for the PC folks.
And what's weird is like there's no mention of the 5th playable monster in any of the other stuff. It's not mentioned in the Monster Expansion Pass, for example. So at some point, if you want to get the 5th monster for the game whenever they release it, it's going to cost you $15 or more, depending on how they do the model. Right. For the consoles, at least. If you get the PC Monster Race Edition, then you'll have it on there. But that costs $100 for the PC Monster Race Edition. So it's $100, gets you $131 of content.
But wait, Colin, there's more!
So for all those Xbox One players that are feeling left out by all the PC exclusives, if you pre-purchase now for Xbox One, you gain access to the beta, which will be, I assume, a few weeks before release. I don't think they've talked about it.
You can also preload. I didn't include it.
And you can preload. You can also have an instant unlock of the Wraith monster in the 3rd tier of hunters for the beta. So that's right, Xbox One owners who pre-purchase will be able to skip Evolve's progression system entirely and have their instant access to Tier 3 hunters and monsters both for the upcoming beta and for the final game. Skip it now. So essentially, like, it skips the progression system, which is about 10 to 15 hours of grinding,
right,
in order to get to that point in game. So by pre-purchasing, you were able to skip grinding. It's the most ridiculous shit I've ever had to say.
This has everything that a free-to-play model would have, except it costs $60. And I think that's what my issue is.
If it was free-to-play, I'd be like, okay, whatever.
Okay, well, I get it, yeah.
Provided there's a way to unlock stuff without paying.
it's just hard for me to swallow. This is like early access. You know those early access deals where they're like, let me. What's a good one? I love Planetary Annihilation, but when they released, they had like $120 early access. Yeah. And I don't know if the game was going to be free to play or not, but it's like a.
It wasn't.
I can do loadout. Loadout had, I believe, several different packages that ranging from like $90 all the way down to like 20 or something like that. And the game was free to play, so you could play base and earn your stuff slowly over time, which is what you can do in this game. You can grind your way up to those playable characters, or you could purchase them all and then just have them already. So you can play $20, $40, $60, $100, whatever, get all your content. But with this, I believe, especially since they're talking about the behemoth, I don't think you're going to be able to have this unless you purchase it. Are you gonna? Is there like unlock points that you're gonna have unlocked to get this specific character? I don't know. So that's where I'm like kind of like, what? $15. So this is their pricing model that they're using, and it's, look, I get it, but I just don't know if, like, they need like 10 monsters, right? Like 10 monsters at less than that, rather than a couple monsters at really high prices, because I feel like the content there that a monster offers is not compelling enough to offer that much.
It just seems so greedy to me. Like, to me, like, the differences between the hunters isn't comparable to like characters in Dota or League, which is the model they're trying to adopt. Like, the difference between playing one support character versus another, like, I'm so used to games with class-based combat having lots of classes anyways. You even look at like variations on classes that like a Battlefield or a Team Fortress might have, right?
Right.
Then to like charge for them separately, or like to try to make it some separate thing, is just really strange to me. It seems super greedy. I don't see it being successful. I don't see lots of people buying the DLCs. I hate the fact that I'm being forced to pre-purchase, and I'm not going to pre-purchase. So
look, I'm gonna get the game. Like, it's one of the big like it's gonna be a hot title of 2015. I'm gonna get the game. I don't know if I'm gonna pre-purchase or not, but it seems like they're offering all this stuff for free. Why would you not pre-purchase and just pay your $60 that you're already gonna pay? I mean, Colin sounds like he's doing it out of principle.
Yes.
Yeah. So I know that Colin hates Star Citizen, right? Like,
I shouldn't have to pre-purchase the game in order to get all the stuff that comes with it. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, to me, like, if you split it off and it's part of the pre-purchase and it's ready day one, and like you're willing to give it for the $60, then why are you only willing to give it when it's pre-purchase? Like, why are you devaluing your customers that purchase the game after release? Like, what does that even mean? Like, why would you punish customers who bought your game? It's the most fucked up shit. Like, it makes no sense to me. It makes no sense. It's not like you value the content. It's not like it was extra content that you developed for the game. Clearly it wasn't, because it's ready to go day one, right? It's already bug tested and everything. It's being shipped day one. You can purchase it day one for the $60. It just makes no sense to me. It makes no sense to me. And it's like super disrespectful to the people that purchased your game. Just because they didn't purchase it beforehand, so you could like account for it in your booking.
Right.
It's fucking stupid. That's all I got.
That rant, man. Colin's heated.
Just so stupid. I hate this business practice so much. If people want to give you money out of goodwill, that's fine. Star Citizen, that's fine. People are interested in the project. They want to get involved. They're giving it to fund the game, right?
Right.
And they're doing it strictly out of their own goodwill. They don't have to do it. They can get it later. They can purchase the game when it's ready. That's fine. But when you like force it on your customers in order to get all the shit which you made for the game, fucking ridiculous.
Okay. All right.
Makes it really hard to be excited for the brand and for the company making it. Really hard.
Now, I think the big question is, what did Turtle Rock do with Left 4 Dead? How'd they do that? Did it just pass off the reins? I can't really remember. Was it just standard?
I'm not sure how much they had to do with the game after release.
After release, because of Valve.
Yeah.
sense. All right. Smite World Championships. I don't want Colin to be too salty. Switch those topics. Get off the saw. All right. So I went here. Some of you guys might have watched. I was there from Friday evening, so I missed the first day. I was there most of Saturday, and then we left early Sunday, so I didn't watch the finals until I got home. Cognitive Prime won that. They played against Titan. I saw the SK Titan matchup, which is the last one I saw before heading out, which was about 5 or 6 o'clock, I think is when that ended. It was an excellent match to watch, to see the difference in style of play from two different regions of the world. Europe has this very slow, almost methodical style of play. The U.S. has this or I should say North America has this very aggressive style of play that is very exciting to watch. Now, I had a hard time watching, especially Game 1 of the SK versus Titan match, because it was so slow. Even Christy, you know, she had mentioned after watching the first one, I was explaining these things to her. She watched them and she was like, "Wow, this is like, oof, this is really hard, difficult to watch." The takeaways from the event for me, because this is my first time at something like this, is after playing Smite, being involved in the Smite community for, I would say, I probably played like a good 4 months of Smite, 3-4 months of Smite. I walked away very impressed with the community, very impressed with high res, which is surprising considering tribes, you know, the tribes fallout that they have. I guess for some people that might be surprising. And very impressed with their production of this event. I felt like, again, let me say this again. I felt like Smite did not have the community backing that I pictured in my mind for this quality of an event. Like, it was just, it blew me away. It was, other than not having, perhaps having soundproof booths for both teams, I feel like they pretty much nailed it from a presentation standpoint. You could see everything. They had all these monitors up. If you saw inside of the stadium arena, and commentating was pretty good. You know, I found myself having to explain, like, if this new person was watching, like for Christy, I had to explain what was going on a lot more than the commentators were explaining. So, you know, one of the things that I think it's Dota, Colin, that has those multiple streams where they have like a noob stream basically that explains the game.
Yeah, supposedly Smite had a stream as well that was doing that, but I didn't check it out. So I'm not sure.
Okay. So if they did have that, that's good. But when we were up there watching and they were casting out, and it could have been because the people in the stadium are like, most of them are like diehard fans. There wasn't too much for someone that was new, that was just like a normal spectator that doesn't play Smite, doesn't know much about the game, that really understands what's going on. They didn't tell why things were important. They didn't say why such and such was a great play all the time. So if you didn't know the game, you didn't kind of understand it. But as I started explaining things to Christy, she even got up and she started cheering a couple times, which I was like, oh, okay. So there's a couple really good plays. You know, I really enjoyed myself. The other thing that kind of I got to mention, this is probably a venue thing rather than a Smite related thing. Fucking prices were like as high as popcorn, dude. Like you're going to the movie theaters. It was $4 for water. A bottle of water for $4. They have food now. They have food trucks outside, and their prices were reasonable. So basically, I got a meal for her and a meal for me for $22. So that's $11 a plate. That's not bad, right? So that was good, but I quickly learned that, like, I was not going to buy anything from inside the venue. I also got some VIP swag. I gave most of it away to Epic employees that didn't get a chance to go. But I got my shirt. I got a sweatshirt that has the same Smite World Championships logo on it. I got some pins and buttons and stuff. I thought I brought all that stuff in here, but apparently I didn't. Thought I had it right over there. And I got a bunch of Smite codes. So if you play Smite, you want some codes, let me know. I'll probably just give them to you. You can just message me. And they're like skins and stuff. There's also this thing I had 10% off on an Alienware purchase. So I might just give that away to somebody as well.
I think that's it. So I might just buy a laptop.
Yeah. If you got that kind of money, you get 10% off. So like 200 bucks for like a $2,000 laptop.
That's true. I guess if you're going to purchase it.
Right. So, you know, from an event standpoint, venue standpoint, presentation standpoint, I was really impressed. And one other thing, Colin, that really blew me away that I don't feel like a lot of other streams have done a very good job of is filler content. Filler content on any stream is typically hot garbage at a tournament. Hot garbage. Now, they did not have a full production for the entire duration of a break in between matches. But there was about a good hour of content that they had where people were just still sitting down in the stadium watching them walk around, talk to fans. They had some pre-planned content revolving around Xbox One. And they had some behind-the-scenes stuff for production. All this stuff was really cool. They played a couple of trailers. They talked to the president of the studio, asking him about things. I mean, they had a lot of stuff that was well planned out that kind of was like kept you in your seat. You know what I mean? And I don't feel like anything I've watched from tournaments, either be Dota or League or MLG, like none of them have filler stuff in between matches. It's like match, break, or match, analysis stuff, and then break for 30-40 minutes and there's nothing there, right? So I feel like from that end of the production, it was a really bang up job. Like I just haven't seen anything like that other than like, you know, you're talking TV production. Yeah,
that's probably the best thing they had going for the stream, in my opinion. The downtime stuff, there was constantly stuff going in.
Yeah.
So yeah, I agree. It was almost too much. Sometimes we're just like, please just get the match going. Especially on the finals day, like they had the match scheduled for, it was like 2:30 or 2:45, and then like the match before that finished like really early. So like they had like an hour and a half between matches or something like that in order to meet the schedule.
Right.
So yeah, I mean, besides that stuff, but besides that, like it was really good production value on everything, especially for a like. Obviously, it's not the first time streaming. They do lots of like weekly tournament streams and everything like that. But like for a major production like that, there's tons of mistakes that like a first-time organization would make, and they didn't really hit any of those roadblocks.
It was, I mean, it was just like I said. I walked away very impressed. So you had some comments about casting. What'd you think about the play-by-play commentary for the most part?
Yeah, they did good. I think on the same note you had, where it was like, I played Smite for a while, and I still was having trouble following things. There's been like a lot of graphical updates, and like just seeing like the spectator camera is really hard to follow in general with that kind of game because it's not like Dota where it's like always the same perspective in terms of like all the trees are always in the same spot because you're looking at it top down from the same angle every single time.
Right.
But like in Smite, it's like rotating the camera all the time, so like it's really hard to follow just from that perspective. So I wish they'd done more just to kind of explain the game and like get everyone up to speed and talk about what the gods do and like how they interplay with each other more, which they did a little bit more of in the finals than they did in the other one. My only other note is like they were like overhyped for things pretty frequently.
Right.
Like way overhyped for things, which made it hard to tell like when actual good plays were happening because they were just like every time like, oh my god, you see that? Wow, he used the spell. And it's like, oh shit. I'm not ready to be a commentator. But yeah, it was like every single time there was a kill, it was the final kill of the tournament, which is just a bit to get accustomed to. But I mean, besides that, like it was pretty good. They have a nice suite of casters, so it wasn't the same guys up there every single time.
Yeah, that was good. So I have a couple videos from just to kind of give you guys an idea of what things look like. I'm gonna go ahead and switch over to monitor, so you guys can see some of this. I got 2 videos that I just pulled down. This is from my phone. I didn't take my high quality camera there. I didn't feel like packing all heavy for that. Put that at. I also have some stuff from the Xbox One Lounge. Championships, vlog, and where did I put this video at? Let's look at my recent download. See what they're called. Oh, not there. Pull them here. Oh, here they are. All right, found them. All right, this is from the Xbox area. The other one that I had was from main stage, and I showed that at the beginning of the show. Go ahead and switch over to this. You guys can kind of see this. Smite on Xbox looks interesting. I'm going to be anxious to play it. One of the things that Gandhi mentioned, you guys caught his interview, was that he felt like one of the things that translate well for Smite is that the action feels skill-based. So when you're casting spells, and he was talking about being a ranged attack, you know, either a mage or like a hunter or something like that with a crossbow, that it would feel very at home for people on Xbox if they played shooters, because, you know, it's like you're aiming at them and actually casting the spell. So again, it's taken from my phone. Switch over. And I probably need to turn down the volume a little bit because it's loud.
Actually have a pretty high win percentage, and like Carl was mentioning, when he mentioned the fact that Order generally wins over Order did less wins in the tournament so far. So they're taking Order this time around with first pick, first ban. They get 1 pick out of it. Last game, Congress ran to Thor right out of the game. So the question is, you know, do they ban Serpent at all? Right? Generally don't see first pick taking the Serpent off the table. They usually let second pick to it, because obviously you don't want that Serpent to go through. But in this situation, I think it's unique, right? Because Congress is 100% okay with Serpent going through. We saw what use Serpent, and it wasn't even a factor for them. They didn't even need it. So maybe they'll just let it go.
Very true. That is something to keep in mind.
I mean, Cognitive Red, they might actually have a plan for Serpent. I'm sure they've thought scenarios over a million times of just what can they do with picks and bans. Obviously, they're not afraid to ban Anubis. And us, like, the way I look at bans are extremely important. When you look at Serpent, when you look at everything on the table.
All right. So that's a little bit of video from inside the Xbox stuff lounge. They showed some other gameplay of, like I said, they showed Gandhi when he was playing. He was using can't think of his name. The god of water. Greek.
Hebo?
Poseidon.
Oh, Poseidon.
He was using Poseidon. So I mean, there was some interesting stuff there from Xbox. The other thing I saw was Sandboxer. They do 3D prints of the characters.
Okay.
And so I took a couple pictures of those. It was pretty badass. And then there's one picture I want to show you guys. I don't know if I pulled it down. I did. I hope I did, so you guys can see it. It's just ridiculous. I put it in Smite. I'll download it, but the hammer that they had, actually I can just pull it up.
Talk about like Thor's hammer.
Yeah, so there's like a Smite World Championships. There's like a statue that they built.
Yeah.
And then it has a Thor's hammer in it, and it says Smite World Championships across the front. And I think when Cognitive Prime won, they pulled the hammer out, and he was like holding it up.
I didn't see that. I turned it off as soon as the game ended.
It's pretty sick. Here. Just gotta find what folder I put it in. I think this is it right here. Alright, here it is. I put it on my Google Drive so you guys can see it. There is so they had this big banner when you walked in, and there's that hammer. I was wondering, like, they had a rope around it so you couldn't touch it, but I was wondering if you could pull that out or not, right? And so when I actually saw the kid pull it out, I was like, what the hell? Are you serious? There's a close-up on it. Dude, that's sick. Colin, how sick is that?
That's pretty cool.
That's badass, man.
Would have been funny if they had it open for everyone the entire time. They had it like locked on with the Super Duty magnet. Right. And then at the championships, they turn off the magnet.
Here's the image from the Sandboxer thing. This is what I was talking about. It's that Thor. And then they make some smaller stuff. I think that might be all the pictures I have. Let me go back. Yeah, that's a video. So yeah, I mean, that was it for the event. I mean, like I said, I had a really good time. Went out and ate. Memphis, you didn't know what Smite was? Yeah, I posted some on my channel. That was in my transition period. So you know, I think a lot of folks that are like frequent viewers of my channel now, if I posted something, they might be like, oh shit, let me check this game out. Back then it was like, Arctic is playing this weird ass game and it's not Gears. Fuck him. I'm not gonna watch this. So you know, Smite is one of those games where, you know, a couple people watched, they started playing it, some people got into it. I personally got into it because the third person action makes you feel like you're more in control of the character than, say, something like a top down game.
Because you couldn't handle Dota?
No. That's not at all. I didn't feel like
he was too scared. He was too scared to play Dota.
KO, I want you to watch. I want you to watch and go through these tutorials. I was like, going through one. I was like, that tutorial took me 45 minutes.
And that was that was basics. It's like, basics tutorial like, 1. 45 minutes later.
He was like, yeah, man, they take about 3 hours total. I was like, what? I'm not going through a 3-hour tutorial. Get out of here.
3-hour tutorial to lead into 1,000 hours of sucking before you're good.
So that was Smite World Championships. Last topic that we have for the day. We got the Steam controller unveil at GDC. Nothing really major. I'm going to link this, but you guys can read about it. We might talk about it for Q&A. But this is the major conversation to end off today's show. Colin, I'm gonna let you think about this. I know you've been probably pondering about it since you saw it on today's show or notes. How can games impress in 2015? That fit. All right. So, Colin, Mr. Destroyer of Fun.
I think the episode 100 showed that Cream is the true destroyer of fun.
He is.
I am just a disciple. Destroyer of fun.
Right, right. So you guys all hail to the same god, right?
He has a new emoticon. It's the Yeti holding up a 0 out of 10.
That's nice.
Oh, I didn't bigness. We'll do that after this topic.
Okay, so
Dirty Bomb impressions.
Let me make sure I write it down so we don't forget. How can games impress you, Colin, in 2015? What does a game need to do to impress you in 2015?
I still don't have anything. I've been thinking about it for a while. And I'm like, I don't want to narrow in just on shooters. I've been impressed consistently over the past year or two by how some of the MOBAs on PC are handling community and content related launches, and like just in terms of keeping everything really fresh. So like for me, it's seeing a developer embrace that, but also embrace like a lot of the out of game features which are important to me, which is ranks, content creation, tools. Yeah, I guess like if I get all that in like a shooter, like the consistent content coming out, consistent patches, updates, communication within the community, competitive features, like if all those things come together in like a working package, that's another important bit. Since we've obviously seen some really awful launches. Like for me, like all those coming together in a shooter would be ideal. Like my pie in the sky thing is I want to be surprised by something for once, because I haven't really seen anything that's made me go like, holy shit, like I haven't really thought of that, you know, in a while. In a while, especially the shooter genre. It's gotten pretty stale, like horrendously stale. And we've talked about weapons. Weapons is a huge part of it. Yeah. Movement, like Titanfall blew me away when I saw the movement. And like the movement component of Titanfall is something that is an example of something which kind of like, oh shit, like that's a different way of doing things than the current way. And the ways you can string it together are all really interesting. So like seeing more of that continue is really what I'm looking forward to be impressed this year. Looking at the list of stuff, I'm not expecting it to happen very much. Maybe Battlefield will do something cool, but I'm not expecting to be surprised by Battlefield. Or Battlefront. Sorry.
Okay.
So that's my pessimistic 2015 outlook. I just want to be surprised. Like, more than anything, I just want to be surprised by something. Because it's getting horribly predictable in the FPS genre.
Nima says...
Evolve DLC plan didn't surprise me. Sadly, it doesn't surprise me one bit.
I'm not going to lie, Nemo. Based on how they came out and were like, free maps, I'm a little surprised. I'm a little surprised.
But you aren't surprised that a company would do that, right?
No.
Like, you aren't surprised at all, considering that Battlefield, in the last 2 iterations, has allowed you to shortcut progression by downloading or by paying a fee.
Well, I think that you and I have both basically speculated that, based off of what Evolve said about their free maps when they first announced it, that they're likely to monetize on characters. And
I'm hoping it was skins, but...
Right. I think we said characters and skins, to be fair.
Yeah.
But I think the pricing is just what kind of caught me off guard with it. I think that's probably it. I mean, $60, and then you're going to charge that much extra for some characters. I don't know. Feels a little off.
I'd expect $10 for all 4 hunters for tier.
Yeah. So for me, man, I'm trying to. If I could say this in a way that makes sense for everyone. All right. So the only game that I've been blown away by, like absolutely just mind blown, because of the sheer scale of possibility in my mind, right, has been No Man's Sky recently. And that's something that just from a technical prowess, what can be done, where can gaming actually go, that has been the only game that's been like, oh man, okay, what if you layered all these things on top of it and made this like persistent world. And then the more that we know about the game, I think it kind of lessens that for me. But there's still like this pie in the sky, as Colin said, utopian game that I would like to see. And it seems like the closest one for me right now is No Man's Sky. Star Citizen has like bits and pieces and components that if it all was put together one day, then maybe that would be it. But it just doesn't seem like that's going to happen anytime soon. I feel like there's another element of it that I experienced recently about 2 years ago when I purchased my PlayStation 3 and I played Uncharted 3 for the very first time. I had not played an Uncharted game up until that point, but that was the first game in probably 8 years, something like that, since maybe no, not even Gears 1, maybe first Halo, where I've sat down on Mass Effect. Mass Effect is the first one that I actually sat down on a game and was so intrigued by the characters, the story, the whole bit, that I sat down and I was like, I played the game for like 8 hours straight, picked it up the next day, like fell asleep, like woke up, I gotta play some more, played the rest and beat the game. I have not done that on a game and I don't know how long. I guess like that was the last one. I don't know a game before that I've sat down, woke up, and wanted to play some more of. So having that type of like engaging, really well thought out game is just like, I guess something that I haven't expected in a while. And having that ability to do that, I think I want more of it. And I don't know what's going to necessarily put that all together, whether it be, you know, this fantastic multiplayer experience that I thought that Destiny was going to be from an engagement standpoint. Like, I can play Crucible all day, but from a story standpoint, no. And we talked about that when they said things like, this is going to be the next Star Wars and Lord of the Rings. The fuck out of here. You know, from that standpoint, you know, I haven't been engaged on that level in the story at all. The characters mean nothing to me. The story means nothing to me. I just want to hop in multiplayer because that actually feels a little bit different in terms of movement, gameplay, weapons, what's possible in the space. That feels different than Halo, than Call of Duty, than anything I've played as of right now. So that's probably the only thing that I feel like is missing for me, is like having that engaging, super intense, I can't stop playing type of game that comes out. The other thing I've been kind of looking for, and I kind of have some points here, is more integration across different mediums. I don't feel like, and Colin, you can correct me if I'm wrong, do you feel like there is a game that actually meshes the whole experience together? They have games that do like PC. Oh wait, but you can do PC and add your tablet. Oh, you can do this and add your mobile. Oh, you can do this and it links into your wearable tech. Like, nothing feels good.
I personally think it's unneeded, personally. A lot of games are focusing on it, especially a lot of the Ubisoft games, it seems like, in particular, are trying to really focus in on that. The second screen experience, so to say, with tablets and phones and stuff. But yeah, I haven't seen it done. I'm not really sure what can be leveraged by doing it. I checked my Destiny app for a while, but it still wasn't like needed. It wasn't part of the game, you know?
Right. I mean, you might as well just use that for Grimoire cards, like when you're busy. Like, or not busy, I should say, when you're bored and like you want to read something. Let me read up on the story and learn more about it.
Even that, they chugged.
Right. So, I don't know. That I feel like that could be something to look forward to in 2015. And I don't know how many studios are going to focus on it. I think one game that's going to come out that's probably going to have a little bit of play on it is The Division.
Yeah. You know, one thing that when Xbox One and PlayStation were like first marketing and like all these new games were being revealed, one thing I was really expecting to take off was like these really different, unique perspectives on multiplayer. Obviously, what's ended up happening is multiplayer has been struggling to work in any next-gen game currently. Yeah. But like, I was really expecting, like, I have a dock where I wanted to do these things. So when they announced The Crew, for example, and they're like, yeah, you can drive from one coast to the other, like one continuous thing, and people can be hopping in and out, and like it's just one big world, right? You can go from one coast to the other. I was like, okay, that'd be pretty cool to do like a Cannonball Run type thing where it's like 8 people racing across the country, and then other people can try and fuck with them essentially the entire way.
Right.
But that isn't really how it works, right? And it isn't really how it was conceived. It doesn't really work that way at all. And like Division, I want to be like, okay, we can have people hold down different areas of the city, and it's like a big open world PvP zone, and then you can cut off areas and stuff. Like, all these things are like floating in my mind as possibilities, and like as things have been revealed, it's been like, well, not really. It's pretty much just going to be the same shit as always. You know, it's going to be 4-player co-op, right? And then occasionally we'll load in 4 other players for you to fuck with. Like, continually, like, my expectations and like the actual reality keeps getting notched down and down. But like theoretically, we're reaching a point where servers and internet and the cloud and such are all advancing a ton. And really, they're advancing more than like console hardware is, to a point where like you should start seeing more of those cool interactions where multiplayer is allowed to do a lot more. And like we can seamlessly drop people in and out of matches and be able to keep world states consistent because we have more memory now on consoles, or PCs can do way more now. But none of that stuff really gets utilized despite the advances. So we're still stuck in like this hopper thing, right? We're still stuck in this, yeah, I invited my friends to the match, we're in our party, and that's it. But really, we can do so much more now, but I haven't really seen it realized yet. But if a game were to make those things possible, and like start to connect the fact that you can have hundreds of people watching a stream where you have thousands of people interacting all together in a chat room or something, like start bringing that into a multiplayer environment, it can do some really cool shit, I think, but it hasn't happened. 1 versus 100, I guess, would be one which did, and then it got pulled off and hasn't come back for some reason. And everyone loved it, you know?
Right.
So it's really weird that that stuff hasn't gone anywhere.
And you hit this, and I'm going to hit it too in 2015. And is that crit? There we go. I had to highlight that. Critopones, you asked about virtual reality in the space. I don't feel like virtual reality is going to change anything in 2015. So, you know, some of the things we're talking about, there's a potential for some of the things we're talking about, especially if you talk about what Division has shown. With some of these things, they might have some abilities to do so. And then a lot of the, you know, integration with other platforms and stuff or other mediums hasn't really been unveiled yet for some of these games that are going to be coming out this year. So, and Britt, yeah, that's a good point, Britt. The one thing that Colin just hit on a little bit ago that I feel like I would like to see more of is a focus on communities. I don't feel like, and maybe it's just from the outside looking in across all these different games, but I don't feel like there are very many games and studios that have been doing things on a level that incorporates content creators, esports communities, like fan groups, on a high level. And it could just be, right, studio size. Obviously, look, if you don't have the money to do that, and because your game doesn't have a huge community, that makes sense, right? But we do have a few select things like, Colin, was Natural Selection 2, right?
Yep.
That did that tournament hosted by the community where they basically
Essentially, it was like a compendium type thing.
Compendium, yeah. So
they've actually turned that game over to the community entirely. I don't know if we talked about it at all, but they actually said, "Hey, we're moving on to other stuff. We're going to put a few of your community members in places to be able to make code changes and be able to have access to the database and make the changes and patches that you guys want. We're going to give them this power and like straight up, like this is all your game now." Essentially, is how they handed it off. Right. While they went to go move on to something else, which is pretty crazy to think about. And yeah, it's a good example, I think, of how you can be more involved with the community, even with a smaller team.
Yep.
And really, PC's been doing it right for the last few years.
Yes, I agree. I feel like the writing is on the wall, right, for how developers need to start interacting with communities, which in turn build and foster better, I think, goodwill from a community standpoint to the developer, but also communities that, you know, one of the things that people always talk about is the death of games. And I think a perfect game that came out that had a decent community at the start, very, very, very little developer interaction, and when the game was hot, and then fell off immediately after, is Titanfall.
Yeah. They just disappeared for a while.
We were putting out mad content for this game, right? If you look at somebody like Epic, or we look at somebody like League, or Riot, I should say, you look at somebody like Black Tusk at this point, what are they doing? They're highlighting community. Like content creators. Oh, you guys are running this esports thing. Let me talk to you. Let me get involved with you. Look, I was on their forums. I saw almost no interaction from them to some of the people that were expressing those things. Like, hey, what is esports? What are you guys going to do? Can you guys put together a tournament? I know you guys. Look, I know they made some money on the game. Like, there's no denying they made some money on that damn game. Like, there's no denying.
No.
So
there's nothing on the forums, nothing on Twitter, nothing on Reddit. There's like one guy who posted on Reddit, and he posted like 3 or 4 times, then stopped. The community manager was never on. Community was never on. Higher ups were never on. Then on Twitter, like they made Titan Wall, which was like a easy way for them to have everyone just dump all their content on one page, and nothing really stood out at all. Yeah, I was frustrated by Titanfall and their lack of community and like how they didn't work to build anything.
Right. So I think of all the games of last year, that is the one that sticks out to me the most when it comes to complete and utter like failure with community interaction. Just on all levels. To me, it just didn't come together. But Halo, I think, is obviously trying to pave the way. Gears of War is trying to pave the way. They're starting early. I feel like in 2015, there needs to be more focus on communities. On all levels, from all studios, all the way to the bottom. From the bottom to the top. If you're a one-man studio, like, and you got 200 people playing your game, like, make that the tightest knit 200 people that you can possibly make, right? So I feel like that is something I would like to see in 2015.
That's right. I'm with it. Community managers be paid twice as much as they currently are. And they need underlings. Studios should be like 30% community members or community managers.
So that's all I got. I'm gonna go back and read some of what you guys said. Q&A session. Answer some questions. I saw some questions going, but I wanted to kind of make that like a little rant topic while we were going. I'm gonna turn off the chat real quick so I can actually know I can just pull it up over here. I got it open in both places. Jay Ron said, "What's up?"
We're doing this. I can do Dirty Bomb.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Since they released on Steam, so the beta is now on Steam, and with that they dropped the NDA. So I played some Dirty Bomb over the weekend. I've been in for quite a while. Last time I played was like 10 months ago or something like that, 11 months, maybe a year. I had signed up for it back when it was still, what was the name before that? I can't remember. Is it Extraction?
Extraction?
Yeah.
It started with an E.
So I had signed up way back then. So it's pretty interesting. It's really along the veins if you played Enemy Territory, or Enemy Territory, or if you played what was the game that failed? Brink. So it's very similar to that. Nothing really stood out for it for me. There's also like a really like weird arbitrary progression gate because it is free to play. Right. So like they have like the base character, but then in order to get any kind of unlocks or anything, it's like random chance from opening chests and stuff and leveling. And like you can't influence which character you get stuff for. It's just like straight up you unlock a random one. So that's how it is currently. It's like I was trying to play one character, I didn't get any unlocks for it, which sucked. And it takes like a good, like just to get the passives and stuff that kind of make a class. It'll take like a couple hours of playing to unlock. So like that kind of stuff sucked. The gameplay wise was just like nothing really stood out. But I recommend signing up. It's free to play, so give it a try.
All right. Any questions? Really say, hire me and I will get you some coffee. Yeah. Any questions? Arctic, you didn't like The Last of Us. I did like The Last of Us. It was a good game. I didn't play it a whole lot because right around the time that I started playing it, I stopped and I bought my Xbox One. But Jay, yeah, it's a good game. I got it. I got the remastered edition on my PS4. I played a little bit of it maybe like a month ago.
By the way, I think Mass Effect was also the last game which I like straight up grinded like till I finished.
Just like nonstop, right?
Yeah, I mean, like there's multiplayer games which I've woken up and played immediately and like nonstop for a few days, but like Mass Effect's the last single player game which hooked me.
Should Sprint be in Halo? But
There's
I don't
arguments
care.
for
I
and
just don't
against,
care.
and they're different games, right?
Yeah, Monk man, I honestly don't care. Like, I don't know. It's just like so many things about it not being in the game that doesn't make sense to me when you talk about the evolution of video game development. But at the same time, there's like this thing with the community that's like, no sprint or die. Like, I don't know.
How do you feel about mobile games and the future of gaming on the go? I play quite a bit of mobile games. I don't usually play it on the go, though, which I think is pretty consistent as far as what a lot of people do. I don't know. We'll see. I think that mobile gaming is like it hit a bubble at some point over the past year or so, and I think it's like slowly bursting. But there's still like really good games you can get on mobile, which I try to highlight on the show as much as possible.
I play mobile like typically when I'm traveling, so that period of time when I had no PC, I think I played the most mobile games I've ever played. Like it combined, that was like a 3-month period. I was downloading everything. Like I couldn't play anything. I think there's a lot of space for it to grow, right? Like get better graphics cards. Like I feel like we're like 2 smartphones away, 3 smartphones away, which would be what, like come out every year. So maybe like 3-4 years. Like you'll be playing some pretty badass looking games on mobile. Like
there are
already some
pretty badass looking games.
We didn't talk about We didn't talk about GTA 5 being delayed until March, but I was disappointed. I talked about it on stream this morning. Brutality, Arctic and Sky, what do you value most in a game? Story, replayability, etc. Mechanics and replayability for me. I can't play a broken ass game, which is why I hate throwing this one under the bus. I have a hard time playing DayZ because fundamentally the game is like broken. Like things don't work. So I have a hard time playing and enjoying games that just don't work.
I'll say like polish and world building / environments as far as like single player goes. Like if I can get captured in, like if I can enter an area and be like, oh shit, I wonder what this is about, and like start walking around. Like it's always a big thing for single player games. Multiplayer, it's like the ability for the player to be inventive and like make their own kind of strategies and game play style. Like that's what I like. Those are my 2 big ones.
After playing the beta, how hyped are you for Halo? I'm about as hyped as I was going into it.
Probably same for me.
Moderately hyped.
I thought I played well. Interested to see where they take it.
Major Black, Colin, did you get
that? What year do I think will be the end of console gaming? They're probably like one more console cycle, and they'll start to look really like PCs at that point. And then maybe the next one, it'll be... I don't think that Sony or Microsoft will just like give up consoles. Microsoft can do it a bit easier than Sony can because they can just call them PCs, right? Like it's a home PC or a console living room PC or something like that. But it'd be a huge revenue thing for Sony just to drop. So I think what you'll see is to be like they'll just start looking more and more like PCs and be less proprietary.
And let's not forget that on the PC side, you have PC makers sitting there trying to put the PC into the living room.
Yeah.
It's like Alienware, right? Like, so it's right there, right? Like it's almost there at that point.
The line's starting to get blurred. It's really just, at this point, it's the software, right? Like that's the big thing. As well as just like minute hardware differences that make it impossible to port games really easily. I think you'll start to see some of those differences go away over the next 10 years.
Is Destiny viable in the long term, or is Salvation going to come via fully formed, less flawed sequel? Look, I don't know about Destiny long term. I feel like I have to keep reiterating this. Look, Alden, do you play on Xbox or PlayStation? That's my first question. Now, if you play on Xbox, there's this like thing about Xbox players and Destiny that they have not wrapped their head around yet. That the shit is on PS4 and PlayStation 3. I feel like they just like, they're in their own little, but let me just do this a little bit. They're in their own little bubble. And they talk about this shit about Destiny, the game not being fun, the game dying, or whatever. And so I feel like if they're on Xbox, they just don't get it. They just don't get it. If they're on PS4, I think they're like, shit, we haven't had a fucking good shooter that we can play, and I don't know how long. This is some good ass shit. Let me stick with Destiny. I feel like the two differences between the two are probably going to determine which one lasts longer. I feel like Destiny on PlayStation is a much stronger, compelling title from a shooter standpoint than Destiny on Xbox, which has traditionally been very, very strong in shooters. And there's not much that I feel like is going to keep Destiny afloat on a very high level when it comes to Xbox. When you look at PS4, I feel like the content there, the games there, Destiny is probably going to last a lot longer there. So long term, I see Destiny actually being a much more compelling title for PlayStation than Xbox.
So what year would you say Destiny's going to die?
I don't know if it's going to die, dude. I would say it's never going to die until they stop making the game.
Yeah, but what year?
I don't have a year. The year of Gaben.
Do you hope a fourth or fifth serious contender will enter the console market? I don't think it's needed. I don't think there's room for it either. Can multiplayer games only survive in the current market? Yes. The two, actually, pretty much, with Minecraft aside, which I think Minecraft at this point is very much a multiplayer game, but even disregarding that, like, almost all of the biggest games right now are multiplayer in the world. Dota, Crossfire, League. Those are like the big three. World of Tanks is up there.
Right.
Like all these games are multiplayer only, essentially.
Big ask about the process for format. Episode 101 for Frag Logic. You're starting to see it, man. There's a little bit of gradual process. We got things being inserted here and there. We have the intro, right? Like the intro is different than it was previously. We have viewer chat on there a lot more, but we're making it a gradual process. It's hard for me to just flip it as of, especially this is what makes it so difficult. Is it's really just us two, and trying to turn on a dime without going cold for like a month. It's like we can't do that. So it's really difficult to just flip it right out of the box. But it's gradual, man. Gradual. I'm sure you've been noticing some subtle changes here and there in terms of production. Snipe says, hello guys, do any of you like League of Legends?
I played a bunch, haven't played in ages.
And Snipes, you got to time out, man, because you didn't ask for permission to post that link. So, in the future, whatever link that was, just ask beforehand. We'll get 2 more questions going?
Sure.
2 more questions.
We talked about Titanfall last week, or Titanfall 2 a week or 2 ago, and how it may not actually happen if you follow like some of the news around Respawn. I think it'll have the attention of shooter fans regardless, right?
Yeah,
it's just a matter of what they need to do to like push it to the next level.
Multi-platform, look, multi-platform. I feel like a better attention to detail on what other shooters are alive and thriving and what they need to do to get there. I think the game just wasn't ready for release. Like, you know, if they would have came out during the fall. Look, Colin, to be honest, if you look at the lineup in the fall, it really wasn't as strong as we thought it was going to be because so many games got delayed. So if Titanfall would have been like,
they waited and got all that stuff that came in those updates?
Yeah. It would have been way, way, way more compelling if they would have released 6 months later and had way more shit that you know, that they develop now. I mean, it just would have been a better game overall.
Yeah. Titanfall 2 with improved mech mechanics and better weapons, more weapons. Really, I want better weapons. I don't care about more weapons. I just want.
Also, you throw it, like I said, you throw it on PS4.
You throw it on PS4? Yeah.
That'd be huge. Let me be a little bit more precise. Okay, we're going to go back to this question. So this doesn't actually count as a question. Arctic and Skyllus, what are your opinions on League of Legends?
It's a good game. It's no Dota.
I don't like League of Legends. It's not that I don't know. It's just something about the game that's never appealed to me. Played it, just couldn't get into it.
So I enjoy playing it. The one thing which always got me was like how rigid the character roles are, and like how everyone fits into like a really narrow focus, and the way you play the game is very narrow in the sense that like there's always a jungler, there's always an ADC and a support. They're always laning together. Where they go kind of shifts a little bit. For the most part, it's static. There's a top laner who's really beefy. There's a mid lane caster. Like it's the same shit every single game. Which after I played Dota, like and I saw the light.
You saw that.
After I played Dota and saw the light and how some characters can be a support and a mid. Some people, and not just that, but like in a competitive environment. And also like the lanes can be completely different. You can have tri-lanes and make it work. You can have supports polling in the jungle the entire time, so you're carrying it. Yeah, there's so much more to Dota, which ultimately just made me see the light. And then I was saved by Dota from League of Legends monotony. And Smite and Heroes are cool too.
You had to go there. See.
Side note.
I'm gonna add to the title. I'm gonna add to the title. Skyllus hates League of Legends. See how many dislikes we get.
You should put League of Legends Star Citizen. So just just to see how much we can get on one video. Since the Star Citizen haters are Protector, Guardian Force.
Exactly.
They come out en masse.
Memphis, I want to answer your question, dude, but I feel like we talked about like if we could develop our own game.
We've talked about different ideas in the past, yeah.
Yeah, so
it also probably changes for me almost every month or two.
And mine, I'm not telling anybody what I want to make for my perfect game. I can't answer it, Memphis. Sorry. I want to, but I just can't. And I'm gonna say No Man's Sky, just cause.
If I could make my perfect game,
it would be No Man's Sky.
It'd be No Man's Sky.
Dominate. All right, this is the last question.
You did way more than 2 questions.
No, I didn't.
That's way more.
We didn't count Snipes because he asked the same question.
Okay.
Yeah, see? Way more. I asked 2 questions.
Got places to be, man. Got heroes to play.
I know. Do you guys think these games have been broken at release because of devs learning new hardware or push to get games released or something else? Colin.
We talked about it before.
I know, but you had the perfect answer for this, and we'll end on it.
So if you look back at 360 launch, look back at PlayStation 3 launch, you'll see the same thing. When games came out, they were broken. I believe that it's almost fully the fact that it's people working on new hardware and games getting more and more complex. And the fact of the matter is that there's more people playing online than ever before as well. It's like all those things, like the perfect storm for broken online experiences. It's hard, man. But if you look back at like COD 2 is my favorite example because no one remembers it for some reason. But COD 2 was broken for like 6 months after it launched online. on consoles. It was like 6 months. I mean, like, not just like, oh man, I can't get into a match, but like, I shoot at someone and they die like 4 or 5 seconds later, or they just like are teleporting all over the map the entire match. Like, it was that broken for 5 or 6 months, and it wasn't like front page news. It wasn't anything. Like, the fact that media is now like, again, also so much higher, and we have so many more people able to post videos, post links online, post images. So many more people able to report problems and blow problems like way sometimes out of proportion, sometimes into proportion. Like, the comparison between like now and like when Xbox 360 came out isn't that great, but at the same time, like, they were equally broken. Like, it's the same stuff, all over again. COD 2. If COD 2 released today as it was, people would be so outraged. Like, there would be so many threads, and it would be like studio crippling. It would kill Infinity Ward if they were to release like a COD 2 today, the way it was at launch. But no one remembers it. No one remembers it. Even people that played COD 2 a ton are kind of like, oh yeah, I forgot about that. Because, like, again, like, you just didn't care. Like, you played something else, and you came back to it later on when people were like, hey, this is actually pretty good. It's working now. But like, you didn't think about it. You just played other stuff.
There you go. And with that, if you guys weren't here, actually, the intro isn't that much different. I didn't change around some of the cuts in between, but I did have a nice new intro. But I'll exit off with the video I played at the beginning of the show for those that missed it. This has been episode number 102. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Oh, before I leave, we hit 25 subscribers, Colin. We hit 25 subscribers, yes. And we're going to have some new emotes. So,
is that the number for the third emote or the fourth?
That is the number for 3 and 4.
Oh, we get 2.
2 emotes.
And you can finally update the Frag Logic one so it looks better on white.
I will. I'll be able to update
Since
that.
I gave you that image like a bajillion years ago.
Yes, I'm going to update that. I'm going to add a little subscriber icon to the star so that it won't be default. It's something in the works right now. And then we get 2 more emotes. And a refresh. So, should be good. I'm looking forward to it.
Nice.
Alright, for those of you that missed it,